In the last 150 years, all of humanity has stood on the brink of destruction at least 4 times. Only an incredible miracle saved us all. Today, I'm going to tell you about these incidents. Let's go. In 2015, the U.S. authorities allowed Air Force veteran John Boardman to tell the public about a terrifying incident that nearly led to the end of the world in 1962, during the Cuban Missile Crisis. It happened on October 28th at the American military base on the island of Okinawa. An order arrived for an immediate nuclear strike on the USSR, China, and Korea. The Okinawa base had 32 missiles with nuclear warheads. Captain William Bassett, who was on duty that day, could not believe his eyes. He suspected it must be a mistake, but there was very little time to think. Bassett was troubled because the threat level in the order was marked as DEFCON 2, but according to instructions, nuclear missiles can only be launched at DEFCON 1. Bassett thought that perhaps Okinawa had become the first target of an attack, and headquarters sent the fastest possible order, forgetting to raise the threat level. Captain Bassett found himself in a situation where the fate of all humanity was in his hands. He understood that if he executed the order, he would immediately perish along with the entire planet. He also realized that if he didn't, but the threat was real, the result would be the same. If there is no difference, then why launch the missiles? He thought. Bassett called his superiors and lied, saying he had received an unclear, distorted order. Leadership sent a repeat order, again clearly stating to launch a nuclear strike. Bassett broke into a sweat, but still didn't believe it was real. He ordered his subordinates not to rush. However, one junior officer disagreed and began preparing the missiles for launch on his own. Bassett immediately sent 2 armed soldiers to the control point with orders to shoot the officer if he tried to launch without command. Bassett issued an ultimatum to his superiors. Either raise the threat level to DEFCON 1 or cancel the attack order. The commanders panicked, checked the instructions, and discovered an error. The order was canceled. It turned out a major had transmitted the wrong sequence of codes. He was simply demoted. Captain Bassett died in 2011, and the world only learned of his heroism 4 years after his death. Russia has an identical hero, Stanislav Petrov. He also saved the world from inevitable destruction. It happened on the night of September 25, 1983. The Cold War was in full swing. At a command post near Moscow, Lieutenant Colonel Petrov was on duty. Suddenly, the early warning system signaled an attack by the USA. Satellites detected flashes of engines from intercontinental ballistic missiles. Automation showed 5 Minuteman missiles heading toward the Soviet Union. Petrov was supposed to call for a retaliatory strike immediately, but his intuition told him something was wrong. Why would the US launch only 5 missiles to start a nuclear war? That's not enough to destroy the USSR. He suspected a system failure. Petrov broke all protocols and declared the alarm false. He was right. A malfunction was caused by sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds. Only in 1998 was this incident declassified. Next is October 27, 1962, known as Black Saturday. The planet was closest to nuclear war. It was prevented by Soviet sailor Vasily Arkhipov. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, the U.S. Navy discovered the Soviet submarine B-59. They began dropping small depth charges to force it to surface. The crew inside, cut off from communication, believed they were under attack. The submarine was armed with a nuclear torpedo. Temperatures rose, and the commanders argued about launching the weapon. To fire, all 3 senior officers had to agree. 2 said yes, but Vasily Arkhipov said no. His refusal allowed you to live on this Earth today. The submarine surfaced, and the situation was eventually de-escalated through negotiations. Finally, in August 1883, the apocalypse almost came from space. Mexican astronomer José Bonilla took pictures of a massive comet shattering into fragments that flew just 600 kilometers from Earth. In cosmic scales, that is a tiny distance. If these fragments had hit our planet, the explosion would have been equivalent to 3,000 Tunguska meteors. We were incredibly lucky. That is all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch the previous videos.